Go ahead.
This is going to be interesting the rest of the night.
Yeah, what's going on?
Do you want me to hold it for you?
No,
Yeah, that's perfect. You have it in the crevice.
There.
Yeah, put it in the crevice.
Yep.
Put your
I
black.
like it in the crevice.
Good.
That's confusing.
Well, that was...
Okay. Welcome back to the Don't Make It Awkward podcast, because we're going to talk about it anyway.
I'm Josh.
And I'm John. And it's been a while. Yes?
Yes. Long while.
Let's actually get to our guests, because they're going to just break in any second here. This is actually a momentous occasion. We're technically jumping the shark on this episode.
Jumping the shark?
I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
That means that this is like the best we will get before we just
Bomb
out.
Like the fawns jumping the
Yeah.
shark. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So this is your peak.
yeah. This is
Oh.
this is
We're
our peak.
climaxing.
Yes,
This is our...
Okay.
this is the official orgasm of our podcast.
I was referring like a book, but that's fine. The
And this
climax
happens on
of a
number
book.
21.
Well, I mean, I'm a man, so perverted. So we would like to welcome Danny.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Our native, I don't even know what kind of accent that was.
It's
Was that
good.
Australian?
It's
I
going
think
to
it's
come
a
and go.
mix. I think
We'll
it's a mix
just-
of
it's
Australian,
fine.
Jamaican, and British.
It's like
Whatever's in my soul.
a Jamaican Australian, yeah.
Australian.
Josh.
Australian.
Danny, how do you know Josh? You just spit everywhere. That's gross.
I'm married to him.
Yeah.
We've been together almost 10 years strong.
Congratulations.
Hey, thanks.
Josh,
Thanks.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you a little nervous to have Danny on?
No.
You look nervous.
I was just taking it all in.
I'm stoked.
He doesn't love it. He
No,
kept telling
I
me all
do.
the rules I couldn't break
No,
today.
I'll tell you because I wasn't going to say it on the podcast. You were purposely trying to be a high maintenance podcast guest.
No, that's just me.
Okay.
I have high expectations. You've been begging me to come on. I thought I'd be like
believe John has
royalty.
been
I have been
you.
begging you. I'm thrilled that you're on
Hey, thanks.
No,
because
I'm thrilled too.
I'm still not going to listen.
full disclosure, I think Danny is probably the funniest person at this table. So that's why it was about time someone that was a comedic genius would, step up to the mic for us.
I have the best accent.
True. We've never had a Jostralian here or whatever you called it.
That's fine.
Okay. And then we have a podcast, almost regular now.
Really? Hi.
It's Mr. Manager.
Yes. it's
Don't
me.
look at me talking to the mic.
Oh yeah. Hi.
It's confusing.
Super confusing.
Which is funny because you are my wife.
Yes, I am.
So we have a two couple thing here. You
It's fine.
This is an interesting development. Cuz you didn't have enough alcohol before.
What's the topic?
Right. Okay, so let's get moving. Josh, why don't you introduce the topic? I've talked enough.
Well, we didn't officially come up with a topic name of it, but it's The Exorcist. And what's special about this one is The Exorcist is one of the supposedly the scariest movie, and two of us have seen it, Danny and I, and two of us have not.
Two of us
shockingly.
have been living in a box.
Yes.
Or under a rock.
Yes, John
That would
and
be
Rachel.
Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Rachel and I.
Mr. Rachel,
Mr.
and
Manager
John.
and I.
Yeah. So I think how it's gonna go is we kind of want to talk about it a little bit,
Yeah.
and then we want to actually watch it.
Deal. I'm ready.
While the podcast is in not remission. What's the word?
Remission is like
Pause.
intermission.
Yeah, intermission.
Remission.
And then we want to come back and discuss what you thought.
Okay, so without giving away any, I mean, I know what The Exorcist is about. Rachel doesn't necessarily know.
No.
Yeah.
She
I
didn't want to watch the
no.
trailer to get ready for it or anything.
Good.
But
I like that.
if you guys were to say what the best or scariest part without giving away, any of the plot or the storyline, what was the best, like the scariest or best part of The Exorcist in a general sense when you guys saw it?
It's hard because I don't want to really say much with Rachel, and I had a few questions for her, but probably I don't think there's even one part, but we're going to see if this holds up when we actually watch it. I haven't seen it in a long time, but,
Right.
But when I first heard the voice on
Okay.
there,
Okay.
Okay,
I know what you're
That's
talking
also-
about. Yeah.
Possessions, to me, are freaky.
Okay.
Bottom line. So any movie, I mean, I still don't like the Freddy and Jason and all of that, but possession ones get me.
Well, is it because
it's
it
my
seemed
Catholic background?
they seem a little bit more realistic than like Freddy and Jason?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I mean, only Catholics seem to get possessed, so I worry less about that.
Maybe
But
maybe
it's
that's why
still-
you're not as Catholic
Yeah,
anymore.
Yeah,
Fear
I mean,
of possession.
They put that fear in you, so
Well, thus far, all exorcism movies, it's been Catholic.
yeah.
So
So obviously,
there
it
you go.
only Catholics.
Okay.
So
So I wanted to ask Rachel, what is it that you didn't want? Because first of all, to mention, you did not want to watch this movie.
No.
You had no desire to watch it. But
I-
why don't you? What was the reasoning?
I
Is it
hate
this movie in
scary
specific?
movies. I hate all scary movies.
Any scary movie?
Yes.
Do you have any idea what this one really is about?
An exorcist. An exorcism. Like,
But that's
she's
all you
not
know.
wrong.
That's very good.
that's all I know.
Very deductive reasoning.
I have had my times where we've watched a lot of scary movies.
Mhm.
And at the end of it, I'm always making John tell me happy stories so I don't go to bed freaked out and like
Okay.
shit my pants in bed. Like
Which would make an awful
I shit
sleeping
my
experience for both of us.
I shit my
That'll
pants in
give you
bed, but that's
nightmares.
for a totally different reason.
10 years strong.
Yeah. So I don't even remember what else I was going to ask you.
well, so I finally embraced the fact that I hated scary movies
Okay.
and just ruled them out of my life.
Okay,
And
but
Until tonight.
but you're
Until
committed. So
tonight.
right as of now, you're 100% committed to watching it, no matter what I say, right?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
That was a very
Yeah.
manipulative
What are
thing
you
to
going to
say.
do?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, if
So you're gonna
Like, that was-
I
marry
want
me
to
no
just get
matter
a
what.
commitment here.
No, that was creepier from you. Like I'm scared of that
Okay,
more than
well,
I am
just
of
listen,
the movie now.
because the reason I bring this up is I just kind of want to set up the story. And Danny, you know this because we were looking it up before. But when it came out in theaters, do you know like what happened when it came out?
In
No.
1973.
1973, it came out, and it's one of the biggest box office movies. So people waited hours and hours in line, and then when they got in there and started seeing it, I feel bad telling you all this, but like
I don't.
people came out the theater because they were passing out in the theater, and people were throwing up outside the theater.
Our
because-
goal is to make you throw up.
But honestly, to be
Well,
honest,
that's
though,
not hard.
I'll be honest with you. I think you'll see it and have no problem. I think you'll be surprised how not scared you are.
So I mean, Rachel and I, because we were on a scary movie kick for a couple months.
It was around Halloween,
yeah.
a couple years in a row.
And we watched Poltergeist. You know, another older movie.
Mhm.
That's 80s,
Yeah.
Yeah,
early
I'm not sure.
80s,
So-
mid
I
80s.
feel like mid-late 80s.
It-
Okay.
It is the 80s.
Anyway, and
I don't
maybe it's just me, but older scary movies aren't nearly as scary as
Yeah.
some of the newer scary movies I've seen.
I think they're different. I think newer ones seem to be more gore, and I think we're desensitized to the
But-
scary movies.
But like the gory ones don't necessarily scare me. I'm just,
Yeah.
but like for instance, The Conjuring is a newer
Oh,
one. That's a
we
scary.
can't talk about that.
That's a scary movie.
It ruined me.
I don't
Um,
even know what that is because
don't.
I don't pay attention to it.
Lady in Black. That's a kind of
Yeah.
a newer one. That's a really scary movie too. At least it was to me.
Yeah.
So, and so I asked Rachel, well, was Poltergeist really that scary compared to the newer ones that we've watched? And Rachel said, well, I mean, it was scary, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of folksy, like crappy recording look that you have in old movies, right?
Yeah. It's
They might, maybe that will make it less scary for her. I don't know.
It's the it's the quality because like when you hear their voices, the sound is different, and just the quality of the movie. Although I think the look of her holds up pretty good to me, because she's still really scary looking. But that, and then we were talking about Danny and I. We're not supposed to talk about the podcast, but we were.
We didn't.
but we're talking
Liar.
about
It's a cardinal rule.
I told her it's a cardinal rule. But we're talking about like had a lot of dialogue and stuff. A lot of older movies, you know.
Oh.
So it was just longer parts where there wasn't scary stuff.
Well, I'm expecting because I'm a wuss when it comes to scary movies. You know this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be scared, so I'll be chatting through the whole movie, trying to not look scared, try not to scare myself, and that'll help Rachel. But Rachel is gonna be like clutched on my arm with her head buried into my shoulder.
So
that's my guess.
You kind of
at least.
answered this, but my question is: so you're going? Do you think it's gonna be scary to you?
I think it will be scary, but knowing what it's about and having watched, clips and everything, because I think she kind of looks funny.
You said that.
Like she looks like she belongs on Troll 2, or like Leprechaun.
She does, but that's how possession looks.
But
It's not pretty.
but
Yeah.
again, I'm not saying I'm not trying to be macho or anything. I do think I'm going to be scared because it's
Macho's just natural. Were you? You're not trying.
no. I don't know. I think it's just the older quality of movie isn't as scary to me. Although I'm sure it will be scary. I mean, I'm sure
curious,
it will be.
I'm curious to see what you, because like I said, I have a feeling it'll be less so, especially to Rachel, than she thinks it will be.
No, I think
You might
Rachel's going to be
underestimate-
scared.
I don't
She'll be
I don't know.
freaking out, which will
My
cause
head.
me to
May-
freak out, which will make it worse. And I've seen it, but it's like it's all mental.
I mean, I apologize ahead of time if it like gives you nightmares for a long time.
Well, you might have to come over.
Okay,
Then
that's fine.
protect me.
This is an interesting development.
10 years
Whoa.
strong.
Don't make it awkward.
There it is.
On that note, let's
Okay, great, let's go.
sign off for remission in the podcast,
Okay,
as
take a
Josh calls
remission.
it, and we'll go watch the movie, and we'll come back and chat about how scary it was. Okay.
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 The Exorcist. Rachel.
Okay, we just finished, right?
Right.
That's correct. We did.
That just happened.
Josh, why don't you lead the discussion since you're the veteran Exorcist watcher?
Well, I'm taking it how tired Rachel looks. She slept through at least half of it.
I actually did not fall asleep, which is surprising because it was so boring. Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of monologue.
It wasn't scary to you?
There were parts that were scary,
More jumpy, not really scary.
but like it's so hard to get past the 70s movie feel, and that's
Well,
kind of what I suspected it would be like.
I think and I figured it wouldn't be really scary, but I think the problem is like you can't hear anything, so the only parts we even knew were the scary parts.
Because of the volume difference in
Yeah.
the scenes?
Yeah.
Okay.
like half the dialogue at the beginning
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
But did you know
You
what they
didn't
were
need to
saying?
hear it.
No.
He's got a point.
No, actually, you're right because the sound quality sucks.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, you'd have to like have it on full blast alone to even hear. I don't think it'd help much, but
Okay.
Didn't matter. The dialogue was irrelevant. I'm pretty sure we knew exactly what was happening without knowing the words.
Danny, how about you? This is the second, or maybe more than the second time that you've seen
Who's
it,
counting?
right? How was it scarier for
There-
you,
there
or
was-
just as scary, or what?
I don't really remember last time, but there was moments when I was at a 6. I don't think my scare got more than a 6
Out of 10?
out of 11,
Okay.
obviously.
Okay. So, Rachel, if you had to give it a number, what was your highest scare factor out of 11?
Don't make me look stupid, Rach.
wait, what did you say yours was?
I got to a 6, a solid 6.
No.
Okay, so watching the movie, maybe a 5, but it's not over in my brain. That's the problem with scary movies.
You'll be
It's
at
gonna
an 8
stick
later.
in my brain. Like, I just went to the bathroom and I'm staring at the bathroom shower curtain, just like movie. And
I thought
it's
you
only
said-
from the air conditioning. I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's
I thought you
fine.
were staring
Wrong
at
movie.
The faucets to wish they were gold, like the ones in the bathroom.
That is my new dream.
Okay, so 5 during the movie, but you're expecting it to get scarier when, like, you're
When the
thinking
lights are out.
when you're thinking about it a little bit more.
Yes, and when I'm alone.
Okay.
So had you watched it alone?
I wouldn't watch it alone. I would
Yeah.
never watch
That's
this in
stupid.
any other circumstances.
What about you, John?
Honestly, I think maximum I was at a 2
Yeah.
with that movie. It wasn't scary, I mean, whatsoever. But again, I think I attribute that to the 70s feel, and also it's not something that scares me anymore, like possession and
That-
ghosts and devils
yeah.
and stuff. That's just not me. Asked me 5 years ago, probably would have been a lot scarier.
Had you watched it alone, you don't think?
Had I watched it alone, I probably would have turned it off
Yeah,
right
that's
after
true.
right after the first scary part, because one, it wasn't even scary. Like, I laughed through it, and that wasn't me just trying to deflect. It was just it was laughably funny to me, and it took that long to get to a scary portion. Even with the backstory, like the backstory, just possession by an ancient demon is just. I know this was kind of the first movie to do that, but we're desensitized to that kind of stuff now. It's been overdone. They do it better in The Conjuring and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
And I was legitimately scared watching The Conjuring, and legitimately scared watching Lady in Black. Those newer kind of movies, and so
That's funny because you seemed the same watching The Conjuring as you did this.
we watched The Conjuring together.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I was honestly deflecting during watching The Conjuring with you, like that, and I'll admit that. And I don't know. It might be the company I kept watching this movie. We were kind of jovial through it, drinking a little bit and stuff. But I don't know. I'll say that it's the older feel to it, also kind of like what Rachel said.
Yeah, I could definitely tell that if it were a modern movie. I haven't seen any of the new scary movies, but I could tell that, like, if you took that topic and you made it more modern, more scary, what they are now, I probably would have peed my pants.
What's funny is even on the jump scares, like the telephone ringing and things, like it was delayed. You hear the phone ringing, and then a second later he would jump. It's just, again, the quality of production compared to what they do now at Hollywood is so poor.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's just kind of it's just a product of its time,
I could see it as being legitimately terrifying. If I was seeing it in 1973,
Agreed.
You've never seen anything like that. It is going to freak you out.
I totally
Yeah.
agree, like 100%. I think if I were a
You need
teenager,
hot tub time machine, and do this legit.
if I was a teenager in 73 going to, I stayed an hour or two, in line to watch that, I think I would have been scared.
Losing it.
Yeah, I would have been totally scared.
Yeah. I think the part I noticed too, because I think they revamped it a little bit, so it actually made it seem like kind of soap opera looking because it was so like crisp in this, but it's still really old movie. I don't know if you noticed, so that kind of made it look weird to me. What?
I didn't notice.
Oh,
Well, and I don't want to be spoiler alert for anyone listening, all 6 of you. I was waiting the whole time for the stair scene, because that scene is just like the body contortion. That
Yeah.
kind of that thing is scary, but it never happened.
yeah. I was
So-
trying to think of the whole one if it was going to be in there or not, because I thought it was like an extra scene. But yeah, I didn't. By the time it was like 10 minutes left, I didn't think we were going to see it.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna do like a last scene scare
Yeah.
thing, and
Yeah.
then end on a ooh, what's going to happen next? You know,
Nothing
But that-
happens.
but that's a new age kind of
Yeah.
Milk it for all it's worth.
right.
So do you
It's to
think,
scare you at the very end.
So they've done tons of exorcism movies, but do you think that one would be a good remake, specifically that movie?
I would see it. I wouldn't like it, but I would see it.
So I haven't seen any of the current ones. So, but like, isn't an exorcism movie just an exorcism movie? So it has maybe different people, different person getting.
Yeah, that's pretty.
demonized, But like, what would be the point in redoing this one?
Well, I think, same point as any other
Redo.
100,000 movies they've remade, but
Redoing a classic.
yeah,
Money.
I think
Just 'cause
if
they
you had like
can.
the right director and it wasn't, because all the exorcism movies are really like just your standard scary movie, but this one, if you read it as like a drama or just like a more psychological thriller, you know, I think it'd be pretty good. I was even thinking beforehand, and you'll like this, Danny, but
You think you know me so well.
that like Mark Ruffalo as the young priest,
I
younger
love Mark
priest,
Ruffalo.
would actually be a pretty good one.
Yeah, he'd do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a porno, Danny.
I love him. And then he'd Hulk out at the end.
remake could be, yeah, as the Hulk, of course.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Rachel. Like, I don't. Obviously, for money reasons, it's a good idea for Hollywood to remake it.
Yeah,
But other than that, I don't see a whole lot of incentive to do a remake just because it's been done, and it would just be another scary movie, and it would be scary because they would update it to
yeah,
our time period. So, but I mean, like I can totally see why it was a scary movie in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I mean, there was some really obscene parts of that movie for the 70s. For me and you, for all of us sitting at this table,
It is.
we're all very unshockable
yeah,
for even our generation. It's just not, it wasn't scary enough. That's
Yeah.
why it was only a 6 or a 5,
Yeah.
for Danny and Rachel, or for me, a 2, and you probably
well,
Macho
10.
Man.
a 10 for Josh or whatever.
no, I just like it just because of what it is in the movie. But yeah, I figured since it's so old, I was pretty sure you guys wouldn't be scared.
I mean, it is a cool movie in terms of, how you said, like a psychological thriller,
Yeah,
because, throughout the movie, you don't realize that the movie is really about Demi,
yeah,
the priest, and kind of him kind of turning and him, kind of having a self-loathing.
yeah.
So that is a cool part and a very interesting part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it was too little, too late by the time they developed that part.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, okay. The exorcism itself took way too long. I just was waiting. I was like, okay, I know what's gonna happen.
That was the best
All the
15
exorcism
minutes of the movie,
Yeah.
though.
Well, I know.
Dude.
I know that's like where all the action happens, but
Like
They're,
to
like,
get to
doing-
it took too long, or actually doing it.
both. But they're like doing the
What?
sing thing
In
over
my
and
experience, that
over
was a very
again.
short exorcism.
Yeah. Usually it takes months.
In your
In
experience.
my experience.
I don't know.
No, I actually out of the movie, there was probably 5 or 6 scenes that I like, which are the really dark ones.
Right.
Actually, and really the
Ew.
only one that really is even remotely cool or scary, like startling to me, is when it's just all silent and she's hovering above the bed with the wide eyes.
Well, and like the bed levitating and then her levitating.
Yeah, and it's just quiet, and
those were the coolest
yeah,
parts
that's
of the movie.
cool part. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that was the only one that I was like, oh, that's slightly spooky or it could be, but the rest wasn't. But it's just like the fact that it's such a popular movie.
Okay. I lost you there.
No.
Sorry.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. So Danny, what is the scare like? So in the 70s, or I mean, even kind of looking back, people have said that this, for its time, was probably the scariest movie made, and it has laid the foundation for other scary movies for the next 30 plus years, right, Josh? So for our time, you and I are about the same age, 21.
Right.
right? For our time, what would you say was the scariest movie kind of for our generation to, push the envelope for the next 30 years?
Oh,
This question's coming everyone's way, by the way, but Danny gets it first.
you have to understand. I grew up with my dad, who was like the guy that was going through the VHS selection to show our age a little bit and picking the most ridiculous movie that he could find. Like, I have seen every dentist movie, every leprechaun movie. I've seen them all, and they're terrible. And that is what I was raised on with him.
You just basically named 2 movies because I don't know of any dentist movies.
Oh, the Ice Cream Man, the Mangler, all of these.
Okay.
They're terrible. But so these are, I don't know necessarily the mainstream ones, but for me, I guess maybe Chucky was
Okay.
a big influence at that time.
Okay. That's a popular one that people will
Yeah.
connect with.
Yeah,
So that's
I mean, the Mangler, that ruined me, but not the average Joe knows what that is.
yeah, you went
So,
over my head. So
Next time. We'll watch it next time.
Okay, Rachel.
I can't say that this is like what pushed the envelope for everything, but The Sixth Sense is what sticks in my mind.
Oh,
as
that's
like
good.
a big one when I was in high school.
That is a good one.
It's true.
I mean, that's actually, probably one of the only good movies that
It's still good. I watched it like 2 weeks ago.
Did you really?
Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Knight
Yeah.
directed. But
Mhm.
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan. No one knows how to say his last name, right? I was
It's
trying.
always a guess.
I was trying to breeze over it, but Josh wouldn't let me.
Come on.
But yeah, that was a really good movie for our generation. Really good horror, a suspense flick, right?
Yeah.
Josh?
It's so hard for me because I watched all the older ones and I don't even really know what our generation movie would be, but I don't know. When I was a kid, Chucky did scare me a lot, and then when I was older, the one I do remember going to the theater and being scared for first time was The Sixth Sense. So those are good ones, but I don't know. I mean, one that actually was really popular and was I can't even think of it right now. The 7 Days to Live one or whatever.
Oh.
That wasn't The Ring, was it? Is that what it's called?
Was it The Ring?
Oh, I hated The Ring.
That's-
So
okay.
I don't know, but that one, all I remember is that one being really popular and people really loved that one when I was growing up, I guess.
So I've never seen The Ring.
Okay.
Only portions of The Ring. So I was going to say that.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say The Sixth Sense, but now I have to think of something else.
Yeah,
So,
Chucky and The Sixth Sense.
so
I remember
like,
What Lies Beneath. That was big for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Remember
Well,
that?
so I'm gonna go to another movie that I haven't seen,
Okay, great.
right? But I think Saw,
Ooh,
Yeah.
That
Beca-
changed things.
because now at least it seems in horror movies now, right? 2015, it's way more about gore and torture than it is about other things, and so that's actually after kind of our generation, Saw, but I think that's going to be, the next 5 to 10 years of horror movies is going to be very gore centric and torture
Do
centric.
you think
Bunch
even
of
for
freaks.
going on still, because it's been going on for a bit, do you
Well,
think still it's going to...
Well, from the start of it up until 10 years from the start, maybe. I just think that torture psychologically is terrifying, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a good thing for us to try
I think it's
to
gonna,
scare people. So
I think it's going to be more, and there's a few coming out, that have come out recently, and Rachel had said this off air, but the ones that scare her most are real life things,
yeah,
and I think that's more what people will be into and actually be scared of.
I think though that you can incorporate that torture kind of genre into a real. I mean, Saw was very. It was a psychological issue because it was making people make these really awful decisions.
Yeah.
Right. And so that kind of made it real for the people who are watching it, as far as I understand it. So I don't know, but I agree. I think that when people start internalizing the horror movie,
Which is what I do.
Mhm.
Well, and
Did you guys ever see The Glass House?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one. That one got to me. That one was bad.
maybe that's why The Exorcist was so scary in the 70s, though, because people were much more religious, right? Priests and religious people were untouchable by those things. And you have this story, and children, by the way, little girls, innocent little girls who were just sick and cute and wonderful.
That's why people had a big problem with
Right.
it.
So you have this little girl and this priest who were both extremely affected negatively by this devil. And so in the 70s, that's huge, right? But, little children being possessed or whatever, that's kind of, for our time, old news when it comes to horror movies. So
yeah.
Yeah, you can detach yourself from that really easily.
and Catholicism being this
Yeah.
vehicle of horror genre, again, is just overdone. So
Yeah. Yeah. And another one I was thinking, it's not really our generation, but the one that's, I think, was almost as popular, I guess, was The Silence of the Lambs. Like when
That's a
that
good
came
one.
out, and
That's
that
a
was
really
like a
good
whole
one.
different thing. Have you seen it, Rachel?
That's a
Okay,
good
we'll-
one.
All right,
That's
we'll
our
watch
next
that
one.
one.
No.
Yeah, because I think
Yeah.
that one will get to
No,
you.
I'm done. As we're sitting here, I'm going through all the scary movies I have seen, and I'm like...
and now she's getting scared thinking of the
It'll
other
happen
scary
to me
movies.
Yeah.
later. Don't worry.
Yeah, Silence of the Lambs. We'll definitely watch that one.
No, I'm done. I'm retired from scary movie watching again.
Okay. Well, any last words before you lay in your bed and get possessed, everybody?
Yeah.
I'm going to need a happy story tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
Not
easy.
that, Danny.
Mm.
Oh,
So that's
I'll give you something happy.
okay. That's The Exorcist.
Danny, can we
Mhm.
Well, first of all, thanks for coming on. First of all, thanks for coming
Yeah.
over. It's always a pleasure when you come
Hey, thanks.
hang out, but it's a real treat to have you on the podcast.
I just want to reiterate, I'm still probably not going to listen.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay.
I don't want to commit to anything.
Anything else you want to say, Josh?
Thanks for coming on, Danny.
Hey, thanks, bud. Thanks. Thanks for laying down
And
the
Rachel,
rules.
Mr. Manager.
Yeah, Mr. Manager, you're always a star when you come
owe me
on.
big time.
I know.
Thanks for staying awake past midnight.
Danny, can we sign off with you doing that Exorcist voice?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
What would you like me to say?
I mean, you could say something like "Thanks for listening" or something stupid,
Or something not crappy like that.
yeah, just I don't know, start swearing or something.
Don't make it awkward.